All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So Mel Kiper of ESPN just dropped his latest mock draft, the mock draft 3.0. Daniel Jeremiah of the NFL Network just dropped his, and I just posted a video on that. So I'm interested to see how these two compare and kind of battle against each other. So with the first pick, he is the Tennessee Titans going quarterback Cam Ward. I love this pick, right? I think right now when we take a look at how the Titans have really maneuvered through this offseason, they've hired Mike Borgonzi, who's coming in from the Kansas City Chiefs, a team that drafted a prospect who was considered a little raw, needed some time to develop, but he had a really, really high ceiling, a lot of potential there. So right off the bat, you're thinking, okay, you know what? This guy is coming in from a team that swung big with the high potential quarterback, but obviously has seen the layout, the infrastructure in place to watch Pat Mahomes develop, right? Which is the offensive coach in Andy Reid, which is giving Mahomes time on the bench, learning from a veteran quarterback in Alex Smith, right? Could Cam Ward follow suit with the Tennessee Titans? I'm not comparing Cam Ward to Pat Mahomes as players, but I do feel like the situation might be similar, right? With Borgonzi literally coming from that Kansas City organization. And then also, you're looking at the free agency moves. Overpay is a strong word, but they gave Dan Moore a lot of money. He's going to be the team's left tackle. They already have Skoronski. They already have Cushenberry. They signed Kevin Zeitler at right guard, a veteran on a one-year deal. To me, you're not making that move if you're, going BPA approach in every round, right? You're only making that move if you're going to make a splash at the quarterback position, right? Because the Titans could have very well selected a guard in round 3 or even in round 2 if they were going with that kind of slower rebuild approach. But it's like, hey, no, let's just fill a void now with a one-year vet who's probably not going to be playing for all that, much longer. Why are we doing this? Because we need a guard right this second. Why do we need a guard right this second? Because we're going to go out and draft Cam Ward. That's my thinking with it. And then, of course, with right tackle, which was just kind of the problem issue with the Titans, you're taking J.C. Latham from left tackle, plugging him at right tackle, which was his original position back at Alabama. So I think this just makes a ton of sense. And it's not to say that Carter doesn't. With Tennessee, they could still definitely do that. But I feel like Cam Ward has been the pick and will continue to be the pick here at spot number 1. Okay, spot number 2, the Cleveland Browns. He's going with Abdul Carter, edge rusher from Penn State, same as Jeremiah's so far. Look, we talked about it in Jeremiah's mock, right? To line up Myles Garrett and Abdul Carter on either side of the defensive line, attacking Lamar Jackson, attacking Joe Burrow, right? Getting after the quarterbacks. I mean, it's a defensive coordinator's dream to have two top-tier elite edge rushers. I think Myles Garrett is, clearly better than Abdul Carter, but it doesn't, that's literally the best edge rushing duo in the National Football League, bar none. It's not even a conversation if Abdul Carter's the pick here. And that is really, really enticing. Such a big a value position here in edge rusher. They already have Garrett under contract, but for me the question here is what's going to happen at quarterback, what's going to happen with wide receiver, that the offensive side of the football, right? Deshaun Watson, the contract, horrible. Man, yes, they can maybe go out and sign a Russell Wilson or even start a Kenny Pickett, but do they have enough weapons? And I know, maybe the Browns could come back in round 2 at pick, 33 or 34, and select a wide receiver. They could definitely do that. But I think right now, the offense it's a question mark, and it's going to continue to be a question mark if Abdul Carter's the pick here. But whether the Browns go with Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, who would essentially take some of the pressure off of Jerry Jeudy, off of whoever's playing quarterback, or even Shedeur Sanders, which I'm personally not going to rule out. I feel like the Browns are in a really favorable position here. Next up, spot number 3, Shedeur Sanders. So far, 3 for 3 with Daniel Jeremiah's mock. It kind of always makes you ask the question, right? These guys are obviously talking to people within the NFL. They're talking to sources. It's not just one source that, each guy's working with here. There's multiple people involved. And so it's interesting when you have mock drafts come out on the same day with the first 3 picks is the same. But anyway, Shedeur Sanders, quarterback, Colorado. I'm not really buying into the Shedeur Sanders slipping idea. There's a lot of mock drafts out there. There's a lot of people that have suggested Shedeur Sanders can fall all the way to the 20s, fall into round 2. I just don't know. Like, I just can't see that happening. I think because of the need up at the top of the draft and the barren options in free agency, and Mel Kiper's even addressing it here. Even if the Giants land Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, they need to think about the future under center. Rodgers is 41, Wilson is 36. Neither would be the long-term fix. I agree. I completely agree, right? Shedeur Sanders, most accurate quarterback in the draft, right? Someone who can step in, get a play, relay it to the offense, get up to the line, look at what the defense is doing, process that information, make a great decision throwing the football, and deliver an accurate pass. He's the purest passer in this class, the purest passer. And when you have those traits, right, top 5 incompletion, actually top 1 incompletion percentage in college football, but top 5 in yards, top 5 in touchdowns, with a non-existent running game and a horrible offensive line situation, it's just not a coincidence, right? Throw on top of it the accuracy, right? Like, it's just, I just can't see Shedeur Sanders slipping out of the top 10. And I do feel like he makes a ton of sense for the Giants. Handles pressure well, being Deion's son. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but Sanders to the Giants here. At spot 4, he has the Pats going with Travis Hunter. Again, similar to Jeremiah's mock. If Travis Hunter is on the board, this has to be the selection here for New England. You can target a left tackle in the second round, in that top 2, that top end round 2 pick. Travis Hunter provides Drake May a weapon that he's never had before on the offensive side of the football. Not only are you helping at your quarterback and your running game with adding Travis Hunter, but he's literally the best wide receiver on that Patriots team. I feel like he'd be a great fit with Josh McDaniels. I think he'd have a lot of fun taking Travis Hunter and saying, okay, you're going to be on the outside and then on the inside, and we're going to run reverses, and we're going to throw you, weird creative screens. We're going to find ways to get you deep down the field. There's a lot of different things. Like whenever you have a player like Travis Hunter, which is not often, but someone who's just that athletic, that explosive, that well conditioned, you can do so many different things. Just like your mind just goes crazy with the amount of packages that you could put Travis Hunter in. Not to mention him potentially helping out on the defense side of the football as well. So this, to me, fantastic pick. Okay, so the mock draft is starting to deviate here. Jacksonville Jaguars, Mason Graham, D-tackle from Michigan. I like this pick. This pick seems like a James Gladstone type of pick coming in from the LA Rams, right? All those years with Aaron Donald, we know that impact. I mean, we could take a look back at last season, right? The 2 impact pieces on the D-line, the back-to-back D-line picks in Jared Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year, and then Fisk. Mason Graham feels like the Braden Fisk type of player here on this Jacksonville Jaguars interior of their D-line. Travon Walker, Allen, Eric Armstead. You got to get one more piece that can help alleviate the pressure off of the other defensive linemen. Someone who I would say is a pretty high floor player. There's questions about athleticism. There's questions about overall weight. But, as the college games showed, Mason Graham was... I don't want to use the word unstoppable, but he was very, very good. Very, very productive. Stop the run, rush the passer. I think this would be a solid fit for Jacksonville. At spot number 6, Ashton Jeanty. This, again, it feels like it's the consensus here. Win now piece for Pete Carroll. The Raiders are committed to winning. You're getting Geno Smith an actual weapon, not only just as a typical running back, but also as a pass catcher. Ashton Jeanty's a 3-down back, which I love. Physical, tough. You can really feed him the rock, and he's just going to continue to churn out yards, continue to churn out touchdowns. You're looking at the offense divided between Brock Bowers and Ashton Jeanty. I mean, if you're a Raider fan, with the humongous upgrade in Geno Smith coming in, by the way, I mean, you got to be fired up. You got to be pumped up if these are your 2 go-to guys on cheap rookie deals. Brock Bowers is arguably the best tight end in football. If he's not the number 1 tight end, he is at worst a top 4 tight end. At worst. And you're looking at Ashton Jeanty, who has potential to become, to be a top 5, top 6 back in year 1. Like, that is pretty impressive, right? Pretty impressive. And you got to imagine that the Raiders' offensive line is going to look a little bit better this upcoming season. Chip Kelly coming in, wants to run the football. this, again, it seems like it's the consensus here, locking in Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders. And so with the Jets, that's spot number 7. He's going with Tyler Warren, tight end from Penn State. Love this move. Absolutely love this move, right? The Jets haven't had a dynamic tight end, I want to say, since Quincy Enunwa, right? Like an actual threat, someone who's making plays on a week-to-week basis. Tyler Warren's that player. Tyler Warren is a humongous upgrade over what we currently have. Helps in the pass game, helps in the running game. He takes, you're trying to marry the draft with free agency, right? With Justin Fields coming in, we need to supply him with some weapons here. We have not done that in free agency, right? I like some of the acquisitions, Cisco, Stevens, the Jets are filling needs. But as far as actually getting Justin Fields help on the offensive side of the football, getting guys to take pressure off of Garrett Wilson and, really the running game too, you're putting a lot of pressure on the draft to actually, find those weapons. But I don't want to be in a position next season where week 5, week 6, week 7, we're talking about losses because Justin Fields doesn't have targets that are getting open. And Warren is someone who would come in and be that security blanket for Fields over the middle of the field. Tough, physical, violent, wants the football in big critical situations as well. Looks for contact. That's my favorite thing about Tyler Warren. Like, if you're watching him, right, he is like, when he's running with the football, he's almost like eyeing a defender up. Like, please come and tackle me. I'm going to humiliate you. I'm going to lower my shoulder and just drive you into the ground. And everyone watching this game is going to be laughing at you. That's the type of mentality that Tyler Warren plays with, and I love that. Really, really humble guy off the field as well, which I really like. I think Tyler Warren would be a slam dunk pick for this Jets team. And yes, of course, he's not as good as Brock Bowers as prospects, but you know what? Tyler Warren has potential. Well, first off, he would be a top 10 tight end immediately the second he steps foot into an NFL facility, but he also has top 5 potential. One thing that we always have to ask ourselves when talking about drafting a tight end early, top 5 tight ends don't become available. They just don't, right? You typically have to draft that player. Not in every single case, but I want to say the majority of cases, you have to draft that player. So, Kelsey's not hitting the market. Kittle's not hitting the market. If by chance a top tight end does hit the market, you have to pay a ton for that player. But it's typically one of these positions where you can re-sign on cheap deals, and they make such a difference if you have that elite guy. So the Jets would essentially be drafting access to a top 5 potential tight end for the rest of his career. Like, that's like moves, draft picks, especially top 10 picks, aren't made within a first, a 1-year lens or viewpoint, right? It's, who is this guy going to be in 5 years from now? Can this be someone that we re-sign, once this rookie deal ends? Is he going to be a building block for 8, 9, 10 years? Tyler Warren, look, man, again, we have not had a dynamic threat at the tight end position in such a long time. I like Conklin. I do, but he's not back with the team. Juwan Johnson's off the board. Evan Ingram's off the board. Yeah, we can maybe target a Fannin late or Elijah Arroyo in round 2 or something, which is fine, but I just don't feel like they're on the same level as a Tyler Warren. And by the way, he fits the system really, really well, right? Up the seam, tantering strand offense. If the Jets are running the football, he could still be in packages. He's not going to be like a one-dimensional type of tight end. It's not like he's just going to be running around like in the underneath section of coverage, like trying to find soft spots in the zone. Like, no, Tyler Warren, he can really do a lot of really, really good things in the passing game and be that security blanket for Justin Fields, which is so, so important. But the reality is, McMillan makes a lot of sense. Tyler Warren makes a lot of sense. Membou makes a lot. It's similar to last year, right? My top 4 guys that I wanted the Jets to draft: Olu, Brian Thomas, Bo Nix, Brock Bowers. I was totally cool with any 4 of those guys. And I feel like we're in a similar boat here, where the Jets have so many different needs. There's so many different players that make sense for the Jets. It's not like we're in a position like we're shooting for one prospect, and if he's not there, what do we do? Like, for example, New England, right? If Shedeur Sanders does not go in the top 3 picks, and Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter and it's Cam Ward, right? Those are the top 3 in however order you want to shake it up. The Patriots are sitting there right now saying, we really need a wide receiver 1. We really need a left tackle, and there's really not one worth taking with that 4th overall pick. We like to trade down, but who's coming up? You're in a bit of a bind. You go with BPA? Probably not, because the team has already made so many additions on the defensive side of the football. With the Jets, there's really no bind. There's no situation where the Jets are going to find themselves where it's like, great, all of the prospects that make sense for this team are off the board. That's simply, looking at the board and understanding just kind of like the realistic kind of nature of it. I just don't feel like it's going to happen. You can argue Tyler Warren to the Patriots at 4, like McDaniel. Who's the guy that everyone compares Warren to? Gronk in McDaniel's system, Warren in McDaniel's system, like that makes a ton of sense. Okay, if he's gone, right? Oh well, we still have multiple options that make sense for this Jets team. Again, in Membou, going back to Jeremiah's mock, or even a Ted McMillan, who I'm still high on despite all of the speculation regarding the top end 40 time and stuff. So, I don't think the Jets could go wrong here. I think it also makes for a really exciting draft season as well. It's not as stressful and as like nerve-wracking. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. Tyler Warren to the Jets here, and Mel Kiper's mock draft 3.0. Let me know your thoughts, and as always, go Jets.